This is another clip from the Dawa Wise video. Here, Subboor Ahmad talks about panspermia and its proponents. I will play the segment in full, and then I will demonstrate how clueless Subboor is on panspermia.
Darwin's idea was that the cell, the first cell or the first group of cells, whatever they were, it was very simple. It was like protoplasm. Francis Crick in the 1950s, a Nobel Prize winning biologist who was an outright atheist, he discovered that actually the cell is far more complex. DNA, he's discovered the structure of it. So these chemical bases, these things that were not known before, the complexity of them and the way that information is stored within them, it caused him to doubt the naturalistic idea where they came from, or the standard idea that it was just like it was just some
blind random processes,
blind spontaneous creation, some amino acids moving together and in certain
right.
Whatever, some muddy pool or whatever, just things just came up.
Yeah,
He
indeed.
proposed that maybe it was a higher intelligence, an alien civilization that designed this life and sent it down to Earth. And this sounds like science fiction, but he was dead serious. He was so dead serious, he wrote about this in his book. I forgot the name of the book. I normally reference it. But anyone can Google it. It's a well-known book in which he mentions this. And this idea wasn't just, put forward and forgotten. Even today, Richard Dawkins, in a documentary done a few years ago, No Intelligence Allowed, when he was pressed on the point of the first cell, and you cannot use evolution to explain the first cell, because the first cell is nothing to do with evolution. Evolution begins at the point of development.
Right.
When you have the first self-replicating molecule, you can talk about evolution. Without the first self-replicating molecule, it's not evolution. We're talking about abiogenesis. Even he, at that point, when he was cornered by that congressman, who's a very interesting character, he said, maybe we were designed by a higher civilization which sent life down. So again, he's referring to panspermia. Panspermia is recognized, but panspermia, I just want the viewers to understand, does not fit methodological naturalism.
Exactly.
Because it's referring to an agency, right?
Yes.
But why is it allowed? Why is it allowed? Because it's not referring to God. It's referring to some extraterrestrial being.
You're appealing to a mind at the end of the day. You're just saying it's not the mind of God. It's a mind of an alien.
So let's start by talking about what panspermia is. It is the hypothesis that life exists throughout the universe and is distributed by mechanisms such as meteorites and asteroids, amongst others. Pseudopanspermia, or soft panspermia, is the hypothesis that prebiotic organic molecules, which are the building blocks of life, originated in space and then distributed to planetary surfaces where life then emerged. Here is a more detailed explanation. This is plausible. We know of the Murchison meteorite, which landed in Australia and contained organic compounds. Here is a more detailed explanation. What Subboor is referring to as panspermia is actually directed panspermia, which is the deliberate transport of microorganisms in space sent to Earth to start life here. He states Francis Crick believed in this. Let's look into this claim. Crick proposed as a hypothesis panspermia in the journal Icarus and in his book Life Itself. One of the reasons why he later discarded it was the discovery that RNA can act by itself without the intervention of proteins. Another reason was the abundance of molybdenum in organisms. Crick postulated that life arose in an environment rich in molybdenum. This was later challenged as the amount of molybdenum found in the ocean is higher than in the Earth's crust. So therefore, Crick did not believe in panspermia in a religious sense. He postulated it and admitted that it is bold speculation, and recognized that he does not have any strong arguments of this kind. Further scientific findings led him to abandon this idea. What about Subboor's next claim, that Richard Dawkins also believed in panspermia? Well, this one is a lot easier to refute. Here is a section from the list of fallacious creationist quotes compiled on the Rational Wiki page. It shows how Richard Dawkins was misquoted to support directed panspermia, thus appearing to say that intelligent design is true. Richard Dawkins has explicitly stated in talks and on his Twitter page his strong skepticism for panspermia. He considers it as slightly more plausible than creationism. So Subboor is clearly wrong in his claims. I would say he is both misinformed and also attempting to portray scientists as supporters of intelligent design when the evidence is not there.